What if the continents we know today were rotated 90 degrees around the planet, while Earth's axial tilt stayed the same? In this alternate setup, the Indian Ocean would sit at the North Pole, while the coast of Ecuador would be at the South Pole. Over millions of years, climates and ecosystems would reorganize themselves around this new geography. The climate engine still runs on sunlight, strongest at the equator. Rising warm air creates heavy rainfall there, forming rainforests, while dry descending air around 30 degrees latitude makes deserts. Circulation patterns like Hadley, Ferrel, and polar cells would remain, but the rearranged continents would completely change winds, storms, and rainfall. North America, Arctic Canada turns tropical, while Central America freezes. Hurricanes would pound Greenland and the Canadian Maritimes. Hudson Bay's prairies become the new tornado alley. South America resembles old Europe, tempered along Brazil's coast with grasslands and boreal forest inland. The Andes stand as a frozen southern wall. The Amazon shrinks into something more like the Mississippi. Europe becomes hot and humid like Southeast Asia. Britain and Ireland resemble Borneo and Sumatra, while the Alps are the only equatorial mountains with glaciers. Asia, Siberia faces a tropical sea, while India and Southeast Asia become frigid like a new Siberia. The Gobi Desert changes character, but doesn't become lush. Africa, West Africa fills with rainforest, East Africa dries into desert. Tornadoes become common here. Australia, cooler and wetter, forested almost everywhere. Antarctica loses its ice and transforms into rainforest with alpine highlands. A complete reversal of today. Cities experience dramatic changes. Mexico City ends up buried under ice. Jakarta becomes a bleak polar outpost. Kolkata, Delhi, and Mumbai freeze. London turns into a steamy jungle city, like Bangkok with tigers in the Thames Valley. Moscow bakes in desert-like heat, comparable to Baghdad or Phoenix. Los Angeles shifts from sunny to rainy, more like Seattle. New York, Tokyo, and Seoul stay relatively stable, though wetter. If this shift were to happen suddenly instead of gradually, disaster would follow. Ice caps would melt before new ones could form. Seas would rise by hundreds of feet, and ecosystems would collapse. But over geological time, the planet would stabilize, with deserts, jungles, and polar zones completely rearranged. And if Hollywood tried to tell this story, Minnesota's 1990s movie characters might find themselves facing swarms of fire ants and millions of displaced alligators drifting into their neighborhoods, turning Fargo into a far stranger, reptile-filled tale.